Good morning, everybody. I thought I would do a little walkthrough and show you the garden. And at the end of this, I'm going to do my weekly weigh-in. I've been out for a little bit yet this morning, and I just thought, you know what? It's changed a lot. I'll give you a look around. Let me get in here. My ducks are trying to get in today. My chickens, my turkeys, but they can't come in. But my cucumbers are doing well. This is a Minnesota midget muskmelon, cantaloupe. My beans are coming up nice, and look at my beautiful zucchini. Got a nice flower on it, and I've got a couple zucchinis started. Now this one I started in the house, so it's a little early, but I'm here on a budget, and I needed to stake up my tomatoes. So what I did was I walked around the farm. I found what I had, and this is what I came up with. I took this old cattle panel. I had one long one left. Put it down the row. We did this yesterday, and tied my tomatoes to it. So I'm going to keep tying them up all the way to the top. These shouldn't get super tall because these are Romas. They should get about as tall as that fence. And I'll just keep supporting them up against the fence with good old baling twine. That's another free thing, comes with the hay. These rows I've been keeping covered because I have broccoli and brassicas under them, and I don't want the cabbage butterflies to get to them. I had a little bit of damage that I've pulled off, especially in that bed, and they're getting to the point where they're starting to put out little tiny baby broccolis, so that's a good thing. And I'll talk about my weed pile back here in a minute, but I'll show you the rest. This is my other row. That's a lettuce I'm letting go to seed because it's about that time things are starting to bolt. Oh, I just realized I have a tomato plant I didn't get a cage on. I forgot about. And I only had a few cages, as you can see. This is a bush cucumber, 2 of those. You don't need to be there. And my peppers, you can see I put the straw down. I've got some probably some oats growing, but they get to a point I'll come through later and I'll probably pull those out when they get too big. My butternut has gone crazy. My loofah is starting to do okay. Now, that area there, that is weeds. Weeds, and the short stuff here, that is turnips. So I don't know what my ducks are wanting this morning. They're really wanting something. I'll have to go figure that out after. And the taller things are sunflowers here. So let me talk about the weeds for a minute. Honestly, they're not weeds to me. This is something I harvest for my animals. Now in here, that light colored stuff, that's all turnips, so I'll leave it. The taller stuff is called lamb's quarters. Now, lamb's quarters, if you watched some of my videos in the spring, I harvest dandelion greens for my animals. Well, I harvest the lamb's quarters, and I feed these to my pigs and my goats and even my turkeys, because they don't get to come out and free range the whole farm because they fight with each other. So I come in here every morning, and I'll pick a spot, and I'll just grab armfuls of the lamb's quarters, and I take them into the animals. Now, this area here, the animals they won't eat what was growing there, so I just pull it and drop it on the ground. I don't want exposed soil out here. It's not good for the planet, and this will break down like compost and go into the garden and, make some more soil. And I come in here and I find things that, like this little guy. I've got a volunteer here that is dill. So I just harvest around it and I drop it on the ground so that I get it like a living mulch type thing. And I just let it grow. So things like this here, this my animals won't eat. So I just pull it out and I drop it on the ground around the things I want to use like a mulch. So that's why I actually encourage my weeds to grow. I don't come in here on lamb's quarters. I don't pull it. Some of it gets pulled out by the roots, but as you can see, most of it just kind of breaks off, or I cut it off. I do have some hand shears that I use, and I will come through here. This was done once already here. You can see they're smaller, and I will work my way around to that corner where they're the biggest, because it's free food for my animals. It's nutritious. They enjoy it, and I get a little exercise coming out here, picking it out every morning and feeding it to the animals. But things are starting to grow pretty nice here. I'm pretty happy with how things are looking. I'm a little bummed because in the past I always had at least one tomato by the 4th of July, and that's not happened in the last few years. Maybe it's because I'm a little more north. But I've been harvesting a few pea pods off of here. You see my peas are doing pretty good. Again, a free thing. I just use sticks. I have to go get some more and re-support some of these. And I don't want to lift up the row cover, but as you can see, it's pretty full under there. I have some lettuces and stuff growing. I let some go to seed because I let them self-seed, and I will have another harvest in a few months. So anyway, there's the garden. Now I will talk about my weight loss I think I'll do that in another video for you, just because it's easier to find it when I want to track how I've been doing. So anyway, I'll be back with you in another video shortly. As you can see, the girls are enjoying their lamb's quarters this morning. This is why I harvest them. So don't consider everything a weed. If you have a little homestead and you want to feed your animals, things can be harvested that other people would just plow under or pull out or spray or poison. Yes, my turkeys are going a bit nuts this morning. So look how much these guys enjoy them. This is why I leave them. I just go out there, I pull out a couple big armfuls, and I throw them into the animals a couple times a day. Extra food for them, lower cost for me, and everybody enjoys the lamb's quarters, which, if you didn't know, is very edible for humans, and they actually can be used just like spinach. So I do encourage them, and honestly, I eat them as well. So anyway, here's my Mr. Will. He loves me. He's my boar, and he's the daddy to that one. But Will loves me. He comes to get his ears scratched in the morning. So time to get back to work, everybody.